All right, here's the deal. My buddy called me and said he got a free air compressor that he pulled out of the back of his old uncle's workshop. It didn't seem to work and he didn't know how to hook it up, and he thought since I like to fix stuff so much that I might like to come over and play with him in the shop. So I did. So it needed a little bit of love, but really these things are pretty expensive and they're really awesome if you get one this big. The first thing we did here is I filled it with a couple gallons of water and just let that sit in the bottom. The intent was to charge it up and blow all the crud out of the bottom. I also noticed here that the pressure switch was loose on the pipe, which meant if we charged it up it would leak air. So I had to find a way to get that thing off and clean the threads up and put fresh Teflon tape on so that would not leak. So the air compressor just came with an open elbow coming out of the side of the tank. So we took it off, got a couple plumbing parts, and so what we did was he put the elbow back on, then I put a male-to-male nipple on, then I screwed a ball valve to that, and then I screwed a male-to-male thread to half-inch PEX tubing adapter, and then from that point, it's PEX all the way. So I'm jerry-rigging up a 220 volt power cable that we found laying around, just so we could charge this thing up and blow the crud out while it's sitting outside instead of in the back of his garage. So after cleaning the air compressor up and wiring everything up, ready to go, Chris is still not done goofing around in the attic, wiring up one single teeny weeny 220 volt outlet. So I set in on the other end of the plumbing for the air regulator and the air dryer. So I plumbed all that stuff together. It was a kit, plus we bought some extra things to adapt it to PEX. So now that it's at 140 psi, we're opening the pitcock in the bottom to let all the crud and water drain out of it. So I ran the hose in there for about 30 seconds, so I probably got a couple gallons of water. We just wanted to make sure it was clean before we installed it in the shop. You can also see in the foreground my Wago lever nuts that I use to temporarily hook it up. Those things are awesome. Trust me, go buy a couple, do a big wiring project, and you'll throw all your wire nuts out. I'm not kidding. So I decided to do the wiring hookup before we put the air compressor into place. So you can see I'm just extending the wall box out a little bit so that the BX sheathed electrical cable off the air compressor can plug into the side of this box to make it all safe and everything. So once I did all the wires up, with waggles of course, pushed them back in, put a cover plate on, then we slid the air compressor into place. We were trying to find something to isolate this air compressor, and we couldn't find anything at Menards. So my buddy here, he found some kind of horse standing blanket thing, some real thick, hard, rubbery type substance. So we just cut a couple triangles out of it, stuck them under the feet. So the idea here is to put a wedging anchor in and then tighten the nut loosely. So the air compressor can vibrate on the rubber a little bit, but it's not going to go anywhere. That's why we put Loctite on the threads. So this is an inexpensive PEX kit that my dad bought and ran a bunch of airline in his shop with. Then he gave me this little box with all the extra parts to go play with it. So this was my first foray into PEX, and I'm going to tell you right now, I'm never going back. This is the way it's going to be done from now on. It was so easy. Now I want to run airlines all over my garage in the basement. I'll probably use the air compressor more often now because I just never want to chase for it. So this was ridiculously easy, and I would highly encourage you to go play with it. I think the whole kit cost him like $30 for the cutter and the crimper. What's neat about the air dryers is when they're under pressure, the valve closes and the water catches in there. And then when you shut the pressure off to the regulator, as the pressure bleeds off, the valve opens and the water runs out the bottom. Now charge it up.
Oh, I see.
Okay?
And then do the same thing, let it out again?
Yep. Cool. So like I said, my buddy said he thought I might like to come over and play, and I certainly did. This whole project, start to finish, took 6 hours, and that includes a trip to my house to get some tools, lunch, and an hour in Menards getting all the weird plumbing fittings. Thanks for watching.